When I feel like it. I replied, no problem. Then I muted her chat, turned off her read receipts, and put my phone on Do Not Disturb. Weeks later, she showed up at my door furious, asking why I didn't respond to her calls and 100+ panicked messages. I, 34, am a developer. I work from home, make a good living, and for the past 5 years, I thought I had a partnership with my wife. I was wrong. I had a dependent. 2 years ago, she quit her marketing job to find herself. I was supportive. I told her to take all the time she needed. I'd handle the bills. Our finances were technically joint, but my paycheck was the only thing funding them. I genuinely didn't mind. I figured we were a team building a future together. The future came crashing down on a Tuesday. Property taxes were due a little over $8,000. I logged into our joint high-yield savings account to make the transfer. This was our emergency fund, our down payment on a dream house fund. It was supposed to have over $50,000 in it. The balance was $1,204.58. It was one of those moments where the world just goes silent. I didn't panic. I just felt cold. I clicked on the transaction history. There it was 3 weeks prior. One single wire transfer for $50,000. Sent to an LLC I had never heard of. I sat there for a long time, just staring at the numbers on the screen. I didn't call her. I didn't text. I waited. She came home around 6 p.m., glowing from her spin class and scrolling on her phone. "Hey," I said. My voice sounded foreign, flat. "We need to talk." She sighed, annoyed, without looking up from her screen. "Can it wait? I need a shower."
"No."
"Where is $50,000 from our savings, wife?" That got her attention. Her head snapped up. For a fraction of a second, I saw pure panic in her eyes before a steel curtain of irritation slammed down. As if I was the one inconveniencing her. "Oh, that," she said, waving a dismissive hand. "It's for my new business. My brother's helping me. I was going to tell you, but I didn't want you to stress and try to micromanage everything." "Your brother?" The one who was 35, still lived with his parents, and whose last business was a spectacular failure involving NFTs of cartoon apes. "You gave our emergency fund to your brother for a business." She rolled her eyes. A full, theatrical, "You are such a simpleton" eye roll. "It's an investment. You're so controlling. It's my money too, you know. I'll pay it back when the business takes off. It's our emergency fund.
You don't have a job.
You need to call him and get that money back in our account.
Now."
She scoffed, turning to walk to our bedroom. "I'll deal with it when I feel like it." She stopped at the door, expecting me to argue, to yell, to plead. I just looked at her. That one sentence crystallized everything. Every time she'd used the joint card for a $500 handbag. Every time she'd planned a girl's trip without a thought to the budget.
It was never a partnership. I was just the bank.
"When you feel like it," I repeated, my voice quiet.
"Yes."
"When I feel like it," she said, then shut the bedroom door behind her. I nodded slowly to the empty room. "No problem." I walked back to my office, picked up my phone, and began. Mute her chat. Turn off read receipts. Put phone on Do Not Disturb, with exceptions only for my parents and my boss. Then I opened my laptop, did a quick search for the highest-rated and most vicious divorce attorney in the city, and scheduled a consultation for the next morning. The lawyer was a shark in a 3-piece suit. I laid out the facts. The house was inherited from my grandmother 2 years before the marriage and was solely in my name. The $50,000 was from a joint account, but every single cent that went into it came directly from my payroll deposits, which I had the statements to prove. He almost smiled. "This is good. The house is separate property. She can't touch it. The money will file a motion for dissipation of marital assets." She effectively stole joint funds for a non-marital purpose right before a separation. Judges despise that. "Here's your battle plan." I followed it to the letter. I went straight to my bank, opened new personal accounts, and had a very helpful bank manager reroute my direct deposit, effective immediately. I froze our joint checking account, making sure that $50,000 wire transfer was its last hurrah. Then I went home. She was out, probably celebrating her investment. I packed my essentials, my work setup, and on a whim, I unplugged the Wi-Fi router and took it with me. I checked into a long-stay hotel and waited for the fireworks. It took 3 days. The first text was simple. Her. Hey, the internet is down. Her. Did you pay the bill? Fix it. Silence for another day. Then Saturday morning hit. Her. Are you getting my texts? My card was just declined at the grocery store. I had to leave a whole cart of food.
It was mortifying.
Transfer money to the checking account right now. Her. This isn't funny. The silent treatment is for children. Are you still pouting about the money? I told you I'd deal with it. By the second week, the panic was real. Her. The power is out. The electric company said the payment was rejected. Why would you cancel the autopay? Her. My car payment bounced. The bank called me. This is going to ruin my credit. Her. Pick up your phone, you coward. Her. I'm calling your mother. I'd already prepped my parents. They knew the whole story. Their phones went straight to voicemail, too. The calls to my phone started coming in waves. 10, then 20, then 50 a day. Voicemails filled with confusion, then rage, then screeching. Finally, at the start of week 3, I got the text I'd been waiting for. Her. I just signed for a certified letter. From some law firm. What did you do? What did you do? She'd been served with divorce papers and a formal 30-day notice to quit my property. The calls went from frantic to thermonuclear. 150 missed calls in one day. I listened to one voicemail. It wasn't even words, just screaming. 2 days later, my lawyer told me she'd likely gone to stay with her parents, and it was safe to grab the rest of my things. He was wrong. I put my key in the lock, and the door was yanked open. She stood there, a mess of tangled hair and rage, wearing the same sweatsuit from 3 days ago. The house was dark and cold. You, she shrieked, her voice cracking. You finally show your face. Where have you been? I've been calling. I sent over 100 panicked messages. Do you have any idea what I've been through? I've been busy, I said, trying to step around her.
She physically blocked my path. Busy?
You can't just ignore me. You can't just serve me with divorce papers. And what is this notice to vacate? You're kicking me out. You have 30 days to leave, I said, my voice ice. Actually, 27 now. You can't kick me out of my own home, she screamed. It's not your home. It was never your home. It's my grandmother's house, it's in my name, and it's legally considered separate, non-marital property. Your lawyer will explain it to you, assuming you can find one to take your case without a retainer. Her face went slack. The rage evaporated, replaced by a dawning, sickening horror.
No.
That's not right. I get half. I get half of everything. Half of what? The negative balance in the checking account? You took the only liquid cash we had. In fact, you the one who owes me. And then came the waterworks. Huge, dramatic soap opera tears. You don't understand, she wailed, grabbing my arm. I had to. It was for my brother. He was in trouble, deep in debt with some really bad people. They were going to hurt him. The $50,000 was to save his life. It was a decent lie, I'll give her that. Desperate, pitiful, almost believable. Stop lying, I said. The tears vanished. Instantly. What? I'm a developer, remember? I sit at a computer all day. It took me less than 15 minutes to trace the routing numbers and find the registered agent for Azure Shores Realty LLC. The color drained from her face. She looked like a ghost. It wasn't for your brother's debts, I continued, pressing the advantage. It was a non-refundable deposit on a luxury condo. Unit 14B. Ocean View. I called the sales office, pretended to be your assistant confirming the details. They were very helpful. She was speechless, her mouth opening and closing like a fish. You were leaving me, weren't you? That was the plan all along. Drain the savings for your new place, wait for my year-end bonus to hit the account, and then clean out the rest before serving me. You'd paint me as some controlling monster and try for spousal support. But you got impatient. You moved the money too early. And you lost your deposit. It was non-refundable. You monster, she whispered, her voice filled with venom. Me? I finally pushed past her into the dark, silent house. I'm just the guy who learned how to read a bank statement. You said you'd deal with it when you felt like it. I felt like dealing with it immediately. Pack your bags. You have 27 days. She didn't go quietly. On day 31, I had 2 sheriff's deputies escort a screaming, crying mess from my front porch while my neighbors watched. The real war, however, was fought through lawyers. Her parents, who suddenly cared deeply, paid for one. And she came out swinging. Her father called my boss, telling him I was mentally unstable and a financial abuser. My boss, who I've worked with for 8 years, told him if he ever called again, he'd file a harassment complaint. Her mother and brother launched a smear campaign on social media, posting sad-looking photos of her with captions about how her cruel husband threw her out on the street with nothing but the clothes on her back. My lawyer sent a cease and desist for defamation so fast it made their head spin. The posts vanished. In court, she filed for everything: emergency spousal support, a claim that the house was marital property because I'd verbally promised it to her, and half of my 401k. It was a masterclass in entitlement. And my revenge was a masterclass in documentation. At the spousal support hearing, her lawyer painted me as a villain. My lawyer simply stood up and said, "Your Honor, we reject the claim. Here is the bank statement showing my client's wife wiring $50,000 to a realty company for a condo deposit in her name only 3 weeks before my client filed for divorce." She wasn't being abandoned. She was planning her escape. The judge stared at her. He wasn't just mad, he was personally offended. You stole $50,000 from the marital estate, and now you're asking that estate to support you? He didn't just deny her request. He ruled that the $50,000 was to be considered an advance against her share of any marital property. It was now a debt she owed me. Her house claim was laughed out of court. The deed was ironclad. The final showdown was over my 401k, the only real marital asset left. The value accumulated during our 5-year marriage came out to roughly $120,000. Her share was half, $60,000. She looked smug for the first time all day. "Your Honor," my lawyer said, "we do not contest the division. My client agrees she is entitled to her $60,000 share, from which we will, of course, be deducting the $50,000 debt she owes him, per your earlier ruling." The look on her face was worth every penny of my legal fees. Utter devastation. "And oh," she shrieked, standing up, "that's not fair. That's all I have. You can't leave me with nothing." The judge just looked down at her from his bench. "You did this to yourself, madam. You have $10,000. The divorce is granted." I heard she had to move back in with her parents and is now working as a receptionist at her dad's dental practice. I sold the house, moved into a great new apartment, and changed my number. She gambled that I was a doormat she could just wipe her feet on as she walked out the door. She just didn't realize the doormat was the one who owned the whole house.